Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troller. 1972 to 1975.
Game 400, Phillies at Braves.
Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1972-75 Carryover League. We got another series in the National League. Best of 7 in the division between the Phillies and the Braves. Interesting tale that began a year ago, where the Braves and their fabulous offensive sluggers and talented individual performances from pitchers were your number 1 seed a year ago, made it to the division round, but lost in the first round of the playoffs to a surprise number 6 wild card team, which is something I've championed, throughout this process, that once the playoffs start, do not think the wild card teams can't win or can't advance. So we'll start by looking at this, because I have it up here. So in the divisional round of the playoffs, your number 1 seed gets the 2-2-1-1-1 format, which means 3 of the first 5 games are in their park. Braves could not convert home field. We're down 3-2 in a Game 6 in Philadelphia, with Buzz Capper on the mound, leading in this game to force a Game 7 back home. But the Phillies rally in the bottom of the 8th, beating Capra and Tom House, and win this game 5-4 to send the Phillies to the League Championship Series. It really burns up the Braves. It really ticks off the Braves. All sorts of cause and effect here, because the Phillies advanced to the League Championship Series against the Pirates, and they're overmatched, as the 71 Pirates do indeed win the 71-74 World Series against the Tigers instead of the Orioles. But so the reality is the Braves shoulda, coulda, woulda, and the Phillies Cinderella. It's a year later, and the Braves have not forgotten that. And we'll just go through the series that opens up in Philadelphia. Game 1, Braves at Phillies. It's Bill Grief and Jim McLaughlin, number 4 starters, matching up here. Braves, Marty Perez a single, Ralph Garr triple, 2 runs in the first. Phils get a run in the second, RBI double Mike Schmidt. Braves get a solo homer Davey Johnson, 3-1. Phillies tie it up in the bottom half of the 7th inning with RBIs on McCarver and Maddox. But in the 8th inning, off of the Philly bullpen, the Braves get a walk, single. They win this game 4-3 on the road. Game 2. And it'll be a matchup of aces. If you're wondering, it's because we start with number 4 starters because both the Braves and the Phillies maxed out in their previous series. By the way, the Braves in their previous series took 2 out of 3 from the Oaktown A's. So we know this is a good Atlanta team. Always have known this, even though they came into this series with just a .500 record. But we've put together a powerhouse team of 73 sluggers and 1974 quality pitchers. Game 2, and the battle of aces, Phil Niekro, Steve Carlton. But in this one, folks, Steve Carlton has his very best performance with the 72-27 win card. He shuts down the vaunted Atlanta offense. 1 out in the 9th inning. He is got a no-no. Darrell Evans hits triple-double off his card to ruin it, but he converts a 2-0 shutout. Phil Niekro very disappointed to not get a victory where he had a heck of a start. Niekro, 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. It is a loss, but the Phillies convert a 1-1 split at home. Game number 3, Fulton County Stadium, the little ballpark. And oh boy, folks, this is the beginning of the Atlanta revenge. It is Buzz Capra versus Wayne Twitchell. Two strong starter 8 righties with a 6-card template. If you follow that, second best ERA on the staff in those corresponding years. Top of the first, Phillies are hot. Johnstone double, Schmidt walk, McCarver single, 2-run triple, Tony Taylor 3-zip. Bottom half of the second, Braves retaliate. A walk, single, an error by whoever is playing first base for the Phillies, which is the $64,000 question. Everybody, every team, you know, it's hard to fill out a 20-man roster. But the guys who could play first base for Philadelphia this year are Tony Taylor and Tim McCarver. McCarver is a catcher, of course, who can play first. Tony Taylor is a middle infielder who can play first, of course. They don't have Willie Montanez. They don't have Darren Johnson. Darren Johnson. They let Mr. Tom Hutton go away to I think Baltimore, and they are in the wilderness at first base, and that cost them there 4-3. But the Phils get 2 runs in the third on a Schmitty homer. They get doubles in the fourth. They get an RBI single in the 7th. And here we go again with Philadelphia with a 7-4 lead. And finally, the tables start to turn. Twitchell leaves after 8 innings, 6 hits, and 4 runs. 7-4 game. Gene Garber comes on in the 9th with a 7-4 lead. Gets a pop out. Gets a fly ball to center. Now you just need to get the final out with a 3-run lead. But Johnny Oates singles. Then Marty Perez singles. And if there ever is the expression, with the tie run at the plate, there's no more dangerous team that I could think of than the Atlanta Braves, who have Darrell Evans with 40-plus homers, Davey Johnson with 40-plus homers, Hank Aaron with 40-plus homers. So when you say, with the tying run up, it's scary in Atlanta. Darrell Evans walks to load it. Davey Johnson, off of the Garber card, triple-double, gets the double. We've run Baker. It's a 3-run double. We're tied. Another single by Gar, and an Hank Aaron double. And Gene Garbage blows the game in the 9th. Atlanta comes back and wins 8-7, takes a 2-1 series lead. Game number 4. It is Pat Dobson, George Stone. Stone pitched very well against Oakland, won that deciding game. Phil's get a couple runs in the first. Hank Aaron ties it 2-2. Stays this way until the 8th. They get to Pat Dobson. They get to Mike McQueen. It's 5-2 in the 9th. Bob Miller converts a save. Braves win this one 5-3. They're leading the series 3-1. Let's take a look at the overall standings at the present time, with the Braves up 3-1 in this one, trying to get their revenge from a year ago. And there it is, folks. The Phillies, yeah, this is sort of more of the reality. They were a bit over their skis a year ago, making an improbable playoff run, getting hot at the right time. They barely stuck into the playoffs by beating the Cardinals to qualify for that final playoff spot. Then they beat the Braves. They beat somebody else, then the Braves, then they lost to the Pirates. But now reality is showed up for Philadelphia. They just need some more pieces. They're closer to looking like the 72 Phillies than the 75 Phillies. Wait on next year, probably. This is what it's looking like. But break up the Braves. Scary team. Now getting hot. Now, this is the team that these guys don't want to see limp into the playoffs, the Braves. Now it's getting tight in this National League, the Mets and the Braves. These 3 teams here. Then you've got the Giants slipping a little bit. Then you got the upstart Padres, one of these teams. National League is turning into a wild and woolly race, dare we say. And the Braves would love to win a Game 5 today and go 3 over 500. And we've got a matchup today on short rest in a Game 5. It is the Aces. Steve Carlton for the Phillies. A one-hitter last time out. And of course in 72, 27 wins, .98 ERA, 346 innings. How many innings pitched are we going to get? Let's see. Negro? 300 and what? No. Yeah, 302. That's 648 innings, folks, between these guys. Negro is only a starter 8. 20-game winner, 2.38 ERA. The 74 pitching performances of Phil Negro, Buzz Capra, and Tom House joined with the 73 hitting performances of Hank Aaron, Davey Johnson, and Darrell Evans. You combine that into one season, and Atlanta is a frightening team in the National League. Really are. Let's get going today from Hot Atlanta. They do not want to go back to Philadelphia. They want to knock these Phillies down and kick them out altogether. Leading off for the Phils, Terry Harmon Carton, 35, is a walk. Jay Johnstone, 6'12", first C. Runner goes to second for Gary Maddox, 48 is a K. And with 2 outs, Mike Schmidt, 2-3, rolls a short. Dusty Baker leading off, 5'10", is a strikeout. Braves juggled their lineup against lefty after being humbled just 3 days ago. They shifted all these position guys. Batting second now is Ralph Garr, 57's a K. And Hank Aaron in the 3-hole now, center X. Gary Maddox at 3 in center, 3-13. He's eventually will be a 1, but not yet. Makes that grab. Top of 2, it's the Bull, Greg Luzinski, 4'10", pops to first. Tony Taylor, 4'10", pops to first. And Walt Williams, 67, he strikes out. Bottom of the second inning, Davey Johnson, 34, is a K. Darrell Evans, 37, is a base hit. Rico Suave, 39, is a 6, 4-3 double play. We go to the third. Larry Boa, Constrictor, center X. We've got Mr. Dusty Baker out there. 2E5 makes the catch. Bob Boone, 42, pitcher. Terry Harmon, 47K. With the last game, these two teams and these two pitchers playing going 2-zip. This could be a quick one, folks. Yeah. If you got something to do, I mean, you can probably get it done pretty. Don't worry, we'll get you out of here pretty quick today, folks. Fly ball to left. Mike Andrews, 45, triple one single. Oh, but he gets the triple. Infield comes up for Bobby Floyd, 59, short X. But you got Boa, 1E12, the ultimate equalizer. Makes the play. And Dusty Baker, 1-2, center B plus an injury. That's going to play big because they don't have a center fielder to replace him. Oh my goodness, folks. This means that I got to put Rico Carty in left field. Rico Carty, oh boy. Rico in left, Hank Aaron in right, and Ralph Garr in center. Oh boy. That's a scary proposition with Dusty Baker hurt. So, Marty Perez will come on in the game for the injured player, play second base. Davey Johnson will be the new designated hitter. Ugh, scary for Phil Negro. In the fourth, it's Jay Johnstone, 34, rolls to first. Gary Maddox, 37, center. Mike Schmidt, 58, short X. It's Bobby Floyd, 3E40 at short. And that's an error. An error. And Lazinski, 67, is a K. Negro survives 4 with bad defense behind him. Bottom of the half. Ralph Garr, 56 off lefties, a K. Hank Aaron, 37, walks. Davey Johnson, 32, Lomax. Now, Carlton's up there, at the top of the Monument Valley of starting pitching with the Catfish Hunters and Tom Seavers and so forth. So basically you need like a couple solo shots. That's all you really need. 2 or 3 solo homers off a lefty should do it. And you've got the barrels to do that sort of thing. But you got to start hitting them because Negro does not have any defense behind him should he start putting runners on. Something to watch in the 5th. Tony Taylor, 5-2. Flies left. Walt Williams, 49. Second X. Here we go. We have the new second baseman is a 3-14. Makes the play. And with 2 outs. Boa, 1-3. Pops to second base. Scoreless, as kind of predicted. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment. First station. Identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, folks. Game number 400 with a couple goose eggs in the number has a couple goose eggs on the scoreboard. And it will be Darrell Evans leading off. 63 off of lefty pitcher X, E0. We have to rule for that for a road pitcher. Hang on. 2E0 makes the play. Rico Suave, 58 to strikeout. And Casanova, 3-6 is a K. Steve Carlton has given up 3 hits in 14 innings against these Braves. He's figured them out. So, even in the tiny little ballpark in Georgia. Top of the 6th, Bob Boone. 68, skies left. Dare we say it, most of the National League is rooting for these Phillies to come back and, take some shots, get these Braves knocked down a peg. Because, we got some quality baseball teams trying to get into the playoffs and concerned that Atlanta could get on a hot roll here. Teams like the Pirates and the Reds and the Cubs, of course. Terry Harmon with 1 out, 49, bounces to second base. Again, the 3-14 makes the play. Jay Johnstone, 58. Center B. Necro survives 6 scoreless frames. He is not allowed to hit. Unbelievable. Bottom of the 6th. It'll be Mike Andrews, 2-8. Off lefty is a base hit. Bobby Floyd. Do we bunt here with the 179 utility player? Yes. We're going to drop it down even though he's a C bunter. Oh, boy. That's bad news. Yeah, this always happens to me. Rolls a 12. Is that a double play for a C bunter? Probably. Let me look at the chart again. Here's sacrifice. Yeah. Unless you're an A bunter, that's yeah. This is A, that's B, and he is a C. Mac, yeah. That's a double play. I think a B bunter, you have to see if he steals the plate, but it's an automatic double play there. Oh, popped it up in the air, doubled the guy off the bases. What could go wrong for Atlanta in this one? Dusty Baker or Marty Perez in the leadoff spot. 2-11, grounds to second base. We go to the 7th. Scoreless. It'll be Gary Maddox. 4-10, pops to first. Mike Schmidt, 4-11, left X. Oh boy. Now who did you put out there again? Aaron, we moved to right. Rico Carty's in left. He's a 47. 4. He makes the grab for Necro, helping his starting pitcher out there. And Luzinski, 5'11", second X. Hitting a lot of ground balls to Marty Perez, who started this game on the bench. And he makes the play. We stay scoreless. When has that ever happened in Atlanta? Scoreless game between the Phillies and Braves. Stretch time music. We are enjoying Little Feat's 1972 Sail and Shoes LP. Easy to slip, of course, the big hit there. Willin', which is the second time in their catalog, they did an acoustic guitar version on their debut LP in 71. Fascinating version of that song. This is the version, though, that got the big airplay. Great stuff by Little Feat from the Dirty South, as we charmingly like to say. Bottom of the 7th, Steve Carlton. He's not scared of these Braves. Lefty is not scared at all in a scoreless game. Bottom of the 7th. It will be Ralph Garr leading it off. 45, 2-base hit off of lefty's card. Now, Garr at second. Not the type of guy to steal third. I do steal that. I do attempt these every once in a while with double A's, but seldom with an A, and I'm certainly not going to do it now with the sluggers coming up. Here is Hank Aaron. 2-5 5, let's take a look at Hank Aaron's card of 1973. 40 bombs, a 301 average, the last MVP quality card of Hank's career. We had his 71 card in use for the last 4 years. He didn't win the MVP in 71, even though he had 47 home runs. Him and Willie Stargell and, of course, the MVP Joe Torre had torrid performances in 71. Major League Baseball had a kind of a dead ball year in 72. And then they livened things up again in 73 when they introduced the designated hitter to the American League, and hitting took off again. The National League as well. Hank Aaron, 2-run bomb, and your Braves take a 2-0 lead, trying to win this series 4-1 and be alive and kicking in the wild card and division hunt in the National League. It's Davey Johnson. 34 is a K. Darrell Evans, 58, is a K. Rico Carty, 19. Oh, this is interesting. Fly ball left B plus injury, and we've run out of outfielders for Hotlanta. Another guy got hurt. So, who's our first baseman? Mike Andrews. Who can we just throw out in the outfield today, folks? We only have Hank Aaron and Ralph Garr left. Somebody's got to join them out there. Let's put Frank Tepedino out in left field. We're just going to make him a 5. We're just going to make him, you hit a ball that way, it's going to be a 2-base error. We'll just call it that way. Phil Niekro has to survive 6 more outs and a 2-run lead and hope no balls get to the outfield X. It's getting ugly out there defensively. Carlton, just 1 mistake in 2 outings. Well, if you count the Garr double before the home run. 2-0, 8th inning. Niekro, you got Tom House warming. Another magnificent pitcher the Braves had. It's hard to imagine magnificent pitcher and Atlanta Braves being in the same sentence, but it's true, folks. In the 8th, we go. Phil Niekro, Phillies, lifeless. The Phillies are lifeless. They've got to get something going, or it could be the end of their season. This could be it. We go to Tony Taylor leading off in the 8th. 6-10, third X. This is Darrell Evans, a 3E23. And he kicks the ground ball. Not a good start. Now you got Walt Williams. 6-10 off Niekro. Third X again. We have, dare we say, yes, sir. I always make sure this is a duplicate. It really is. Yeah, same thing. 323 and rolled it again. So, instead of 2 outs, we've got 2 errors on Darrell Evans. Unbelievable. Now you got Boa. Do you want to bunt Boa to put the 2 men in scoring position? Yeah, I think we're going to do it. Down 2. Seldom bunting with an A bunter with down 2 runs. But this gets the road team 2 guys in scoring position when they're being shut out otherwise. Not to mention, Nuxie has not given up a hit today. Bo is going to drop it down. The bunt. Does he bunt for a base hit to ruin the no-hitter? You darn tootin' he does. Boa, first and second, nobody out. Surprises everybody by dropping down a bunt. Down 2 runs. Rolls a 4 for your A bunter. Unbelievable. That's a bunt single for the Phillies, and there goes your no-hitter. Holy smokes. The National League's just getting more and more interesting as this game progresses. Bases loaded, nobody out in a head-scratching situation here. The pitcher would be deflated normally to lose a no-hitter in that manner. The pitcher would be deflated, hit the point of weakness as a starter 8, but they're errors. They're not hits. Niekro is not anywhere close to his point of weakness, but he's on the hook for a potential loss should all those guys score in this frame. It's Bob Boone with the bases loaded and nobody out, and Atlanta's playing back, crossing their fingers for a double play, hoping Bob Boone doesn't hit the ball to the outfield. Here's the pitch to Bob Boone. 57 is a K. Back up top to Terry Harmon. Let's take a look at this guy's card. Terry Harmon in the game today as a utility player with power versus righties, not lefties, because Negro gives up homers on a 14 to righties. Plus, the bases loaded walk situation will cut the lead in half. Harmon had a 284 average in 72 with this card. Denny Doyle normally plays, but they have Harmon in the lineup today. Still playing back, looking for a double play. Here's the pitch. Terry Harmon. 53, right X, right on cue. A frightening fly ball. But fortuitously, it is the best guy left with a glove, Hank Aaron. He's a 3.8 in right field. And we're going to plug in the E rating right there. And it's a game-tying 2-run single. Nothing is earned in this frame. The game is tied. A 2-run single, and Darrell Evans just puts his face in his glove, knowing how he has let his team down. Runners are on the corners with 1 out. It's Jay Johnstone. Bo is at third. I got to bring the infield up in this situation. Don't want the lead run across. Here's the pitch. Jay Johnstone. 46 is a walk, and that is a point of weakness. You've got a hit, and a walk. Oh, it's falling apart for the Braves here today. And Negro will leave this game. He's has a propensity to walk a guy with the bases loaded. He's going to be pulled after 7 1/3. He's thrown a 2-hitter and yanked with a point of weakness because he added a walk to that inning, plus the 2 errors. Devastation. You just have to go Tom House here. As a relief 3, max out his innings. Hope you can keep the game close, tied or whatever. Tom House, 1974, 6-2, 192 ERA, and 103 brilliant innings. This is a case where you've got Buzz Capra and Tom House having the best years of their career in the same season, added to the Braves roster, making them pretty scary. He comes on in the 8th. Bases are loaded with 1 out. It's Gary Maddox. You have a decision. Do you want to bring it up here? Do you play back for a double play? If you look at the Maddox card, you want to look at ground ball Bs, and they're coded. Let's look at the Gary Maddox card. So here's Gary Maddox. This is a Giants card in 73. Phillies made the move to get him now, as the Giants blew that scenario. They should have held on to Gary Maddox. They did not. He had 11 homers, 10 triples, 30 doubles, a 319 average. He's a 3 in center. Eventually, of course, he'll be a 1 in Gold Glover. A bunch of ground ball Bs on this card. They're going to bring it up. The infield comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out in a 2-2 affair. Here's the pitch to Gary Maddox. 2-6. That's a single ... And your Philadelphia Phillies are doing it again, folks. Smoke and mirrors. Getting back against the Braves. 4-2. Runners on the corners. Still up for Mike Schmidt. 46. Double 1. Single ... And everything is going haywire for the Braves today. It is 5-2. Infield comes up for Greg Luzinski. 2-12. Right B plus injury. Boy, a lot of injuries today. That's actually a good thing. That gets Luzinski off the diamond, and Johnny Callison, a better defensive player, will play the outfield at the bottom of the inning. Did we get a sac fly there? Yeah, it's B plus injury, right? Yeah, so that is a sac fly after the single ... previously by Schmidt. So we're going to give Luzinski a sac fly on that. We got a runner at first with 2 outs now as Walt Williams bats again against Tom House. Excuse me, not Walt Williams. Tony Taylor bats again against Tom House with a runner at first and 2 outs. What a disaster this inning is. Tony Taylor, 37, is a strikeout. But, the Atlanta Braves have foobarred their great comeback attempt into the National League. And, yeah, what a mess. Error, bunt single, and then disastrous pitching there and disastrous outfield defense to go with it. Jeez. Terrible, horrendous, horrific. And Lefty is loving this. Steve Carlton, 2 runs in 2 starts. 16 innings pitched, just 2 runs. He's got 6 outs to get. Bullpen is quiet. Quiet as a mouse in Philadelphia. Any more defense to add? You can bring in Denny Doyle. We will do that. He's a 2 second baseman. Doyle will come in. He will just simply come in for, we don't need Walt Williams in the outfield, do we? No, we got Johnstone, Callison, and Maddox. He'll come in for Walt Williams. He'll play second base. Harmon goes to DH. Bottom of the 8th. Lefty presented a 6-2 gift. Paul Casanova. 43. Left X. This is Johnstone, 3-8. And Johnstone with a 2-base error. Cover your eyes, Little League coaches. Don't let your kids see this horrific display of defense in the major league level. As nobody can catch a ball at all today in Atlanta. Number 8 hitter, Mike Andrews. 68, flies to right. Bobby Floyd, 58, strikes out, and with 2 outs. Marty Perez. 48 is a strikeout. We go to the 9th. Now I'm thinking, down 4, maybe I should take Tom House out and save his arm for when we need it. We're going to do that. We're up 3-1 in the series. We'll concede the embarrassing loss, perhaps. We're going to go with a down by 4. Ron Schuler will pitch the 9th for the Braves. Ron Schuler actually was a Philly. Then he went to the Braves in 72, or he went to the Phillies after that. I can't remember the order. 5-8 with a 3.66 ERA and 145 innings as a starter relief. One of the more qualified starting pitchers in our league, who is a swingman. And it'll be Denny Doyle leading off in the 9th inning for the Phillies. 2-8, rolls to first. Larry Boa. 2-6, lines to short, and with 2 outs, it is Bob Boone. 6-10, bouncer to short. Bobby Floyd, a 3.40, makes the play. And Steve Carlton will go for another complete game. And it'll be in the 9th, Ralph Garr leading it off. They've come back down 3 off Gene Garber, but different story with lefty out there. Ralph Garr gets a single off his card on 1-8. He just jogs down to second base without a throw. Runner on second, nobody out, Hank Aaron. 3-5, walks this time, and a little bit of murmuring, a little bit of crowd getting on their feet a little bit here. 2-1, nobody out for the dangerous Davy Johnson. 1-5 is ball 4, and you hit the point of weakness of Steve Carlton. Oh my, folks. What an adventurous couple of innings we've seen. This game was scoreless after a 7th inning stretch, and then it got bananas. Carlton's coming out. I just have to see what Gene Garbage can do this time, right? So Gene Garber, back to the scene of the crime. Last time we saw Garber, Gene Garber in 74 for the Phillies, 4-0. Well, he's 0-3 in my league. He was 4-0 in 74 in 48 innings with a 2.06 ERA for Philadelphia. He has a 4-run lead. He comes in, bases loaded, nobody out, because Carlton's broken. Gene Garber in the 9th. It'll be Darrell Evans, Frank Tepedino, and Casanova in the 9th. Darrell Evans playing back. What did I say earlier in the broadcast? Bases loaded situations. This is the team you don't want to face. You've already passed Hank Aaron and Davy Johnson, so the only 40-run guy you have is this dude, Darrell Evans. Let's take a look at the card. 41 of them for Darrell. in 73 with a 281 average, 124 walks as well. Here's the pitch to Darrell Evans. 3-11 is fielder's choice. No double play. So it's a 3-6 force out. A run will score. It's 6-3. We got runners on the corners. And we got Frank Tepedino. You could, theoretically, if you want to get crafty here, because of the injuries, the only guy you have, Tepedino has no hits on his card. And Johnny Oates is the only guy left on the bench. So you could go to the lefty Scarce here just to intimidate and then finish with the Fred Gladding. That's what the betting money will do, and we're going to do that. We had a big 4-run lead, so we're just getting the outs here. So Max Scarce will now come in as a lefty-lefty situation on either Tepedino, the last guy you can play left field, or Johnny Oates. I suppose you could have Johnny Oates pinch hit. He'd have to play left field, or you'd have to put like Buzz Capra in left field or something like that. You have to figure out at this game where to go to 10 innings. But Johnny Oates will bat because he has more hits on his card. Let's take a look. Johnny Oates is batting as a lefty-lefty simply because he has more hits on his card than Tepedino. Let's take a look at Max Scarce as well. He is the lefty setup guy. In 73, he was 1-8, the 2.41 ERA in 71 innings. Runners on the corners. It is a safe situation now for Scarce against Johnny Oates. Here's the pitch to Johnny, playing back, looking for a game-ending double play. 1-4, 4-6-3 double play. Johnny Oates against Scarce, and the Phillies win the game. So that move paid off. The lefty-lefty. The injuries destroyed Atlanta in this one. They had this game 2-zip. Too many injuries. You lost Baker. You lost Carty. And it cost because you got a hit off an outfielder at a worst possible scenario after errors off of Darrell Evans. It's a 6-3 final. Scarce does convert the save after Scary Garber leaves after an out. And yeah, that is your final. So Negro, unfortunately, takes the loss. Carlton gets the win. Max Scarce gets the save. Phillies get a win. Reclaim home field down 3-2, with games 6 and 7 being back in Philadelphia. We'll give you the results of the rest of the series coming up, so stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game you just saw. Crazy thing here. Phillies come back with a 6-run 8th inning and beat the Braves 6-3. Carlton, 8 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 10 Ks. Good enough. Phil Niekro's final line, 7 1/3, 2 hits. One of those a bunt single. 5 runs, none earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Tom House didn't help the cause. So what does happen as the Phillies avoid losing 4-1? It's 3-2. They still have the series lead. What happens, or the Braves still have a series lead. Let's see what happens in Game 6 in Philadelphia. Game 6, a repeat of Game 1 starters, Bill Grief and Jim McLaughlin. And this is a weird one again. In the second inning, you have the Braves with a walk, double, RBI ground out. Bottom half of the inning, single walk, single double, and the Phils have a 2-1 lead. Then you have the Braves, single, and you have a Aaron homer, 4-2. And we're thinking the Braves are going to, win the series in Philadelphia. But the Phillies have other ideas. In the bottom half of the third inning, they get a single, and against Bill Grief, triple 1-2, fly ball the rest. They get the triple. Then that's followed by a Lozinski homer, a single, an error by Mike Andrews at first. And the Phils are on that roll. They pick up where they left off in Game 5. It is a 9-6 final, and the series is tied. and the Braves are left scratching their heads yet again. They had an opportunity to kill the Phillies 4-1. They did not do it. The series is all tied up for a Game 7. And it's going to be like that divisional round game a year ago. Buzz Capra, Twitchell. Now remember, in Philadelphia, in that league, I'll bring it up. Well, maybe I won't bring it up. Remember, Capra had a chance to win that game, but Capra and House blew it, and the Phils end up winning the divisional series. This time around, though, it's Capra versus Twitchell. In this one, we have a sac fly in the third by Hank Aaron. Phillies tie it. RBI single by Boa. Solo homer, Hank Aaron. But then, bottom of the 7th inning, you have a fielder's choice stolen base, RBI single, Denny Doyle. And then Game 7 of this series is tied 2-2. So this is a heck of a series, folks. It really is, with huge implications. And the Braves, can they figure out how to beat their new division rival Phillies? I thought it was the Braves-Mets. Turning out to be the Braves-Phillies here. But Wayne Twitchell runs out of gas in the 8th. Baker triples, Ralph Garr singles, Aaron singles. That's the day for Twitchell. Gene Garber comes in. Ouch. Gives up a double to Darrell Evans. It's a 4-2 affair. Bottom of the 8th inning. Capra, again, left in there to battle. Gets the first out. A single to Schmidt. Strikes out Callison. Luzinski double. The same hook like we saw in the divisional round game a year ago for Tom House. This time House gets Walt Williams, pinch hitter, to ground out. 4-2 affair, bottom of the 9th. Tom House closes it out. 3 up and 3 down. And finally, it took him 7 games a year later, but Tom House, Buzz Capra, and the Braves finally outpitched the Phillies by a score of 4-2, meaning that they don't win the series 4-1. They win the series 4-3, but it is a series victory, and that has to feel good for Atlanta, who has won 2 series in a row, being battle-tested. They beat the Oakland A's, and they beat the Phillies. These are teams that were in the league championship a year ago, so the Braves are actually getting tested now. What's it all mean? Let's go to the standings. Modest improvement, but improvement nevertheless for the Braves. They're at 16-15 now. The Phillies were left for dead. They're still not in good shape. They got to do more work. Remember, they made a run in the postseason tournament to get to the playoffs as a wild card. They're going to have to try that again this year. It's going to be much difficult. You got the Braves. You got all these teams here. You got all those teams there. And, of course, you even have the teams here. Yeah, the National League is just a tight fest. It's setting up for a wild series of tie-breaking finishes. But you got to say it. You got to say it, folks. Break up the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, they're not the top seed of the National League. I get it. But they were resilient enough to figure out how to dispatch their division rival. They win this series in 7 grueling games. 4-3. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.